This is Act and Analyze with Maggie and Tyler. We are two best friends.
I'm an actress.
And I'm a therapist.
In Act and Analyze, you will hear us discuss all things within media and our daily lives, while relating it to our lovely guests.
We want to have fun, but also learn along the way.
Everywhere around us is media. We just want to know, what type of media helps you, or infuriates you, or makes you feel good?
We want to grow with you and leave you all feeling better than how we found you.
Welcome to Act and Analyze.
Hi, Maggie.
Hello, Tyler.
How's it going?
It's good. Welcome to Act and Analyze with Maggie and Tyler.
Yes, we have our first guest today of season 2, which is super exciting. He's somewhat special to you.
Yes, someone I love near and dear to me, Joey Stellwag. We met freshman year of college. We are cut from the same cloth. We are Jersey through and through. We have bonded over so many things. But yeah, he was one of my first scene partners. So ever since then, we just kept a really great, close relationship. And I think he's one of the most well-spoken people I've ever met. And I just admire him as an artist and as an educator, because he has just always been passionate about education. And yeah, we've always really bonded over that and stuff as well. So I'm so excited to hear his take on everything.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah,
we should meet him.
Yes.
I've heard so many good things about him, so look forward to it.
Yes. So Tyler, tell me about your peach and pit of this week. What is, let's start with the pit. Let's start with the dark stuff first, so then we can do the joyful stuff next.
Okay.
And end on a high.
Yeah, so my pit, I think, was that I felt really pretty exhausted. Like, I was so busy this week that I didn't really get time to get to yoga, which I usually like to do, or really get time for self-care, because I was really, really bogged down with client stuff and admin stuff. And yeah, I would say that's my pit this week. So I also, my peach, which kind of led into my pit, was I was in Connecticut in the beginning of the week. So I was in Connecticut visiting, and I love visiting Connecticut. It's where I went to college, and I just love Connecticut. It's so gorgeous. New England's gorgeous. So that's definitely my peak.
Yes.
But it led to my week being thrown off schedule.
Yeah.
So I didn't really get to do the self-care I usually do. But that's okay, because it's going to be a new week next week.
Exactly.
What about you? What was your pit and peach and pit?
I guess my pit this week would be my anxiety of having difficult conversations and facing them head on and stuff. So in the end, I feel like I was rewarded from difficult conversations in the end, but the whole lead up to it was so anxiety inducing for me and hard and challenging for me to manage within my brain. And I felt like my brain was in a bit of a pretzel in the beginning of the week, but that's just a sign to face difficult conversations and to really approach things head on. So, I mean, that was a really that is also the gratitude I have for having that pit. But now I know for next time to not go into difficult conversations with such anxiety and stress.
Yeah. So take some of that advice, even though I'm a therapist, I'm still really fearful of confrontation and difficult conversations. I can do it easily in my profession. Well, no, I can do it easily as a therapist for my clients, but I have a difficult time with personal relationships still. So I will take that experience and think about it for myself when I go into difficult conversations.
Yeah. But my peach is investing in myself and training for the half marathon.
Yes.
And starting my training for the half marathon.
Yes.
And so that's been really fun to figure that out and talk to my friends about and just like get myself excited for it, do something for me and do something like that. Like that helps like manage that anxiety as well and stuff. So, but I think like you're so right. So, it's like you have to have those conversations to like get through and like just be more compassionate for yourself, I think too. So
it feels so much better once they're done.
Once they're done, it's like, God, like I can breathe again. I can feel good. I don't have to second guess myself or second guess anything. Like I'm okay and I'm going to be okay. And
yeah. And like the longer you wait to do it, the harder it gets to do. It's like, but once you practice doing them, you're like, oh, it's not so scary. It's not so bad. It's like anything, riding a bike, driving a car. Like I think about like if you get into an accident, right? It's so scary to start driving again. But once you start, you realize, okay, I'm not going to get into an accident every time I drive. Say it's similar to that. Like,
yeah,
it's not going to be catastrophic.
Yeah.
And you have a difficult conversation with a loved one. It's most likely going to make you closer to the person in the end. So
true. And I think like that's the issue with like us in the period that we're in right now in our 20s. It's such a hard point of life to have difficult conversation and to confront things and to communicate healthily. Like we are just learning how to communicate healthily, it feels like, because of kind of the dynamics we all like grew up with. You know, it's like, yeah, we had all of our friends to communicate with, but also like a lot, like half of our social circle was parents, was teachers, was these dynamics that were power dynamics, like, which obviously are needed. Parents need to parent their kids and this and that. But like, I do feel like I'm getting a pair of training wheels on right now. Yeah, that's what my therapist told me this week. Like, you put back on your training wheels this week to learn how to communicate healthily and effectively and to make waves with yourself. So
yeah, because like it's so true, because with our friends, we've been friends since elementary school, middle school, high school. The way we communicate with each other is from those experiences as kids. Like, and like you and I specifically have really long-term relationships. So it's like relearning how to communicate now with newer relationships is like, yeah, putting on your training wheels again, because you're used to these people, these long-term relationships and knowing how to communicate with these people. Now it's like relearning for these newer people in your life, or even relearning how to communicate with the old people in your life as well.
yes.
So yeah, that I thought the training wheels thing.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
Yeah. But yeah, let's get to this episode.
Yes.
Let's hear what Joey has to say. I'm excited.
I'm excited.
Without further ado, Joey Stellwag.
Cheers.
Oh,
Thanks for spot.
I know, no, I feel the same. But hello everyone. This is my friend Joey Stellwag.
Hello.
We met in college. Our first guest of season 2. Our first guest of season 2. Starting
Part
off
2.
strong. Yes. Yeah. You're incredible. Tell the audience a little bit about yourself. Who you are.
Okay. Well, again, hi, my name is Joey Stellwag. I met Maggie at college at Montclair State. I am an actor, and I am now a theater educator. I'm currently a theater teacher at Camden County Technical Schools. This is my third year teaching.
That's so.
And I'm really happy to be here. Thank you.
We're here too. Thank you so much for
Well, thank you.
giving that. So give a little backstory to me about, you and Maggie, how you became friends, like maybe like a memory too. Yeah.
Say so because I was trying to think now, because just in this moment and I'm not good at math. Which is how many years has it been? What was it first year? First year was 27.
7 years. I just got like a memory of us.
Oh,
I think.
oh boy.
Oh boy.
For 7 years, and I'm trying to think back to because now I'm trying to think all the way back to freshman year, and now I'm thinking of like Circle of Pain with Mercedes doing.
May and Eddie and
Oh God, yes, no, which was Sam Shepard, right?
Sam Shepard. Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like we were cut from the same cloth.
For that, because have you talked? Has she told you that she hit me?
Yeah. Yeah. But the audience doesn't know that story.
No, they don't know that. But I've told that to students. I'm like, yeah, I've got absolutely just rocked.
Yeah, that was crazy of me. That was kind of a
No, it was a little bit. I think when I
what if I nowadays?
no, but and again, I can't speak for you, but at least from the time that I had, when I think about the fact that we had to rehearse the things, rehearse that scene, which for the audience, it's Full for Love, Sam Shepard, Full for Love, Sam Shepard.
I thought you remember that.
It is intense. Like it was, and don't quote me because I don't remember. I haven't read it since then, but it was like they're in love and they're also maybe like
Abuse.
well, they're definitely abusive, but I thought there was some are they actually related? Was that like a subplot?
There's a lot of incest in
Yeah,
Sam
it's
Shepard.
yes, and they're like, but yeah, he's something else.
Interesting one.
But they're in a relationship, and it's a very, very abusive relationship and not a healthy relationship. But in regards to that, again, I wouldn't speak for you, but I felt like, because it was very much like hi, you guys go rehearse this now.
Yeah.
And I felt that all things considered, that I think back on that, I'm like, no, I think we did a good
No, we did.
at making sure that we both felt safe and comfortable. And yeah, but a lot of that, the first couple of rehearsals, it was just we were just talking because I was trying to be I don't even know you. We just met. It was either September or October.
Yes.
And I was like, man, I really do need to feel like I need to get to know this person and that I'm not insane before we have are actually insane scene.
Yeah.
Which I think was ended up turning out really well.
Really good. Yeah, I agree. You are Joey, I told Tyler this before. I was so excited to see you this entire week. You are the safest person ever. I was just always so excited to work on pieces with you. And I felt so safe working on it. That's one of my favorite scenes I've ever worked on in college because of our relationship and of how we grew together in that scene, how we got to know each other. And then you search for it, we're both Jersey people.
Oh yeah,
We're both Irish.
in the Jersey Shore.
We're both Jersey Shore.
Jersey Shore. And I think about that now. I do think about that a lot because now I'm teaching the kids and trying to be okay, because let's face it, there's a lot of great theater that's pretty intense.
Yeah.
And I need to think back, and I think back to that a lot. All right, how do I approach this safely with them? Where do we draw the line?
Yeah.
How do we figure some things out? Because they're still because they're high schoolers, which I know they want to think they're adults. That's what they all do. They want to be. The trick is you can treat them like adults. You can try to get in with them, but they're not. They're not adults yet. Especially the freshmen. They're 14.
Yeah,
they're not adults. I would not do Sam Shepard.
No.
I don't think I would do Sam Shepard with the senior class even. Maybe
Early child juniors.
Maybe we would read it and just read it. I don't know if I would feel as the instructor comfortable being yeah, here's the scene from definitely not Full for Love.
No.
Definitely not Full for Love.
I went Early child senior year of high school, actually. My advanced acting class.
I'm curious of how you go about that, keeping things developmentally appropriate. How do you go about making sure to choose pieces and everyone's going through different phases in high school. So
yeah,
just curious of your wisdom about that.
Well, I mean, I guess it kind of comes back to that too. Like I said, with the first couple of rehearsals here, I was just, actually getting to know you.
Uh-huh.
I gotta, you gotta get to know the kids, and if you know a little bit more about them, know, not like their entire lives, but learn a little bit of more about them. And I mean, like you sometimes it's also like you have to draw a line for yourself and really feel like you like, okay, I know what is not okay from this age of kids. But if we're getting to some, but in regards of like stage intimacy, whether it's combat or romantic wise, what have you, just the things that we learn, which is it is more like choreography, like this happens, then this happens, and it's rigid. It's not, oh, and then no. It's rigid, and you treat it with sincerity and respect. Then that gets them like, oh, okay, like, yeah, I get it. We're putting on a scene. This is very professional. That is how I have discovered is the best way when that comes up. But yeah, it's interesting because you want to, you want to push the boundaries, because sometimes you think like, oh, this is a good production. This is worth learning because it's real to them, or it's a connection to them. But there's always like a time and a place for things, and sometimes I gotta think like, okay, this is not now. When they're older, maybe if they're inclined or they stay with it, then that's great. But not for high school.
Yeah, exactly. With that being said, how do you handle triggering topics that might come up, like within theater or just in general with the kids?
I mean, I think the best thing often is to, well, I mean, if I'm not saying, hey guys, let's read this play that I haven't read before either. Like that's not a good, I don't think that's a very good idea. If knowing what it is, so that okay, I know what this play's about. And really, I do it straight up. I say like forward, like, this is what is going to be touched, like these things, or there's a warning for this, warning for that. Just so they know that that's coming up. I don't want to blindside them. That is when things go wrong. But I also think it can help, at least from what I think about something of like a step by step. Like, like usually if I want to do scene work for something, read it first and then scene work. Sometimes, and I know there's the whole conversation of like, don't watch things because you're subconsciously mimicking and all that. For educational purposes, sometimes I like to then have them watch the production because they see, oh yes, production, wow, that was really good, and they get into the head of like, oh, but like that's really good, we got to make it really good. And helps them with that separation of you are not the character or the actor, or all of that. And so sometimes I do like to show them recordings of productions to help make that distinction. I think it works well.
Yeah, I feel like the art of acting, a lot of it is triggering, and that's so much a part of like being an actor, is being triggered because you're responsive for that character. But that is something that you need to have the knowledge and tools to do. So you working with adolescents and working with younger folks, like you are making strides like by making sure that everyone feels safe before like moving into this act of like could be triggering in those moments and could be hard in those moments. You're laying out a safety net for them, which I think is really, really important and safe.
I think the one thing that I really like doing with them, I've now done this with every single class that I've ever had at the starting point, because I need to get them to learn it, is I have them, it especially works with the younger kids too. That's a way to get them started. But just very briefly, I have everybody get together. We'll have an audience of people, look at the rest of the class, and they sit with me, the audience, and I'm like, okay, 3 people go up, never just one person at a time, because no. So 3 people up at once, or 4 people, whatever. And they'll go up, and they'll stand in front of us, and I say, I'm throwing you the wolves. I'm not giving you all the direction, but this is how it goes. I'm going to ask you to do things for me and do them to the best of your ability. Do not speak. Just try to do these things. And they're like, oh, okay. Yeah, okay. And I'm like, you ready? And they're like, yeah. And I'll go, be happy. And you get some of them that are like, and they'll go for it, and then you get some that are like you could see it in their eyes, so like, what? Like, what does he do? Like, why, what? And some that laugh, some that get really embarrassed for things like that. And I'll go in a pattern. I'll go like, be happy, be sad, be energetic. I'll like embarrass them if it's the young ones, especially. Be like, be in love, and then they don't know what to do with themselves. And then on the fifth one, I go, count how many lights are in the room. And then after they finish doing that, and they're just like kind of left like there, I'm like, yeah, good job, all right, everybody got picking someone else to replace you, and they're kind of, and I don't say anything yet because I kind of let them like sit there and baste and marinate of what is wrong with this guy, and I do the same thing. Another group comes up. Be rich, be poor, be interesting, be stupid. Count how many people in the room have white shoes on. They do that. All right, next group up. Do that. Be this, be that. First person to find a pen in the room and put it in my hand wins. And then they run and they get it and they're great. And then I'm like, all right, real. And everybody's gone and they're like, what is going on? And I tell them, and I say, acting is active. It's about doing things and not being things. When you think of being things, you think emotions and you put them in your head. And that's what I don't like. I like because also when you do things, you focus. It gets you out of here.
Yeah.
Because they get all like, oh, I'm being happy. Oh, the people are watching me. It's weird, but it's amazing when I tell them to count the lights. And they just do it, and they're I hate to say because the kids would make fun of me, but they're locked in.
Yeah,
they're locked in. No, but they are, but they're locked in, or or then they're not thinking, and they're running like, where's a pen? Where's a pen? There's the pen. Put it in your hand. And I think it's not about, oh, I need to show this emotion. It's what are you trying to do in this scene? What are you trying to do to the other character? Think about it in verbs.
Yes.
Think about it in what you can do and what you can get.
Stanislavski?
It's like, but it's like.
Okay, Mr. Stanislavski.
But I'm telling you, it took me until reading the baby version of Stanislavski to go, that's it. That's what they can handle at the moment.
Yeah.
And that's what they need.
Yeah.
And also it's all in sometimes like that it is something where it's like it helps them focus, especially for the kids that are new-ish to it or are nervous. I'm like, when you think like this, you're not in here. You're not thinking about what do I have to be? What do I look like? You're thinking about what you have to do.
How do you feel like being a teacher now, being an educator, how do you feel like your relationship with media is now as compared to what it was in college? Because I remember Joey in college was a big Game of Thrones guy. Yeah, I remember.
This was before the last season.
Yes.
I had to say it. I can't. I'm sorry. I had to say it.
I know.
You know how I felt about it.
Yes. Game of Thrones guy. You were a video game guy. You were, you had you always had great movies up your sleeve, great shows up your sleeve and stuff. But how do you feel like your media preference has changed, or do you feel like it's the same as now?
I mean, that's a good point. I mean, I can't lie and I tell you when like the kids find out I play video games that it's like an instant connection and great. You know, it's like, oh, he's cool. Like, and it, it's a way to build a rapport with the students really quickly. And I still do play a lot of games. Trust me, I do. Not as much anymore because.
I never felt like you were an ultra gamer though in college.
In the summer though, I still get pretty bad. I can't even deny it.
What games do you play?
Oh my god, it's too much. I really like my brother, my younger. It really all started, and I don't know if I ever mentioned this. It was because like. I don't know, like, I remember, like, that was how I made friends. Mm-hmm. Like, that was how I made friends. Like, I can absolutely remember, like, getting to 5th grade, and I started middle school for 5th grade. I know for schools it's different.
Yeah.
But I started middle school in 5th grade, and I remember it was like we got there, the buses are early. You go into the cafeteria when you were in the 5th grader as like a waiting room for all the buses to arrive before you went to your first period. And I kind of like sat at this table with, you know, a bunch of boys, and I was just, I'll sit here. And I'm like kind of nervous and sitting around, and they're all like looking at each other, like looking under the lunch table and back. I'm like, what are they? And I look under, they all have their Nintendo DS. They're playing Pokemon. They're doing like battle for each other. And I'm like, I have mine. I'll bring it tomorrow. And like, hey, what's your name? And, you know, like that was a way to make friends and play together online. My brother loves it too. And now, especially like my younger brother Zach, we just talk about it like it's an art form. Like we stay up till way too late and talk about gameplay mechanics, the interface, the integration of, you know, making it a believable experience, the acting that's in some game, the way that some storytelling in games are, which is just crazy. The more I think about it, you know, it is another form of media too.
Yeah.
And something, you know, it's a hobby, but it's something I've always loved.
Yeah.
How do you feel about the video game adaptations from like game to screen, like The Last of Us?
Let's sure copies out.
I don't like it.
You know,
I don't. I do, and again, art. As I dead barrel the camera, art criticism. Everybody's it's opinions. It's okay.
Of course.
Oh my God, yeah, of course. No, definitely.
But actually, but no. Here's
Do you
an
feel
interesting
like it's
thing.
like reading, you know, where the book is better than the movie?
No, because okay. Here's the thing. Actually, I'd rather talk about The Last of Us.
Okay.
At least to start with The Last of Us, because I do think it is very interesting. Because The Last of Us, which first off it came out in 2013 at this point, and it's been like re-released to death, which is a whole other conversation. But The Last of Us came out in 2013, and it made big headlines. It came out came on the PS3, and I can't deny it. Like it's a really good story. It is a really good story. It is a very interesting story. I have not seen the show, but from what I understand, it's pretty one-to-one of what happens in the game. And there's good acting in it too. Like Troy Baker is Joel, and Troy Baker I've seen him in so much stuff, from video games, anime, cartoons. You know, even in
Original Joel.
the original Joel in the video game. His name is Troy Baker. I for a fact that's his voice actor. And in other video games that I like too, he's phenomenal.
Yeah.
But as a video game, like as a game, in terms of like game design, I don't know if either of you have seen it and what it looks like.
Yeah.
It's very narratively driven.
Yeah.
As a game, and if that's what people are interested in, like all power to you, all power to you. It can be an immersive experience, especially when, you know, it feels like there's no loading screens, like that you're constantly with the character one-to-one. But if you talk to me about, but what about the gameplay of Last of Us? It's boring. It's so, like, I'm into, and maybe this is because, and the kids would say, like, oh, Mr. Stellwag, you're old. But I am into the games that are hard as nails and ridiculous and really complicated and are games first and story second.
Yeah, I feel like it's just like pick this or that to move on to the next thing.
And that's what I say. People say, "Oh, did you watch The Last of Us?" No, I played the game. I already watched The Last of Us. It feels like, you know, it feels like a movie to me sometimes, because I do think, in their priority of a game, like it is more about the story, and the gameplay is, you know, pretty, like I wouldn't say bad, but I would say it's very standard.
Yeah.
And that's that's their vision for it. Which is very interesting to me. But no, that's you know,
that just shows how many genres there is within video games.
No,
Like,
yeah.
it's a whole other realm of media that I'm not super familiar with.
No, and it is interesting in a lot of ways. You know, there is so much artistry in it. Not even just like the fact it's not a live performance. Like it's a it's a computer generation, and they put their voice. It's more like they're dubbing over. Although I shouldn't say that completely, because I know so many video games now. I see they use motion capture.
Oh,
With
yes.
people in
I
full
have seen
full
that.
body motion capture, like really trying their
Yeah.
best as that actor to embody the character, and it is very cool.
So, in what way do you feel like theater, acting, performing arts is a way of therapy, a way of, self-care for yourself, for your students, just in general?
I mean, there's so many ways that it can be therapeutic for people, whether it's just community of being with like-minded people and friends, meeting each other, having something to focus on, even just to be like, yeah, everything else can just go away. We're actively now. That's great. Sometimes people need that more feeling of a family, or both working together, creating something that's therapeutic. Sometimes it can be. Sometimes you could do scenes too that are cathartic. You're like, "Whew," like it was nice to get some of that out.
Absolutely. And I can imagine it's super grounding and, something that's above yourself in a way, and like humbling and all of that. And just I'm sure you really just have to know who you are to your core to be successful.
Yes.
Yeah.
An actor and
No, 100%. Yeah.
Sometimes it can be great for them because they're like, oh, what's that? How was that? Was that? I'll be there. Oh, yeah, that was good. And sometimes kids say, oh, they think, oh, I want this scene to be perfect. And I go, there is no perfect.
Right.
And some kids have a hard time hearing that. They're like, what do you mean? I'm like, well, we know what I mean. You have the freedom to try and fail, and it's okay, and try again or not. Or did you even really fail, or did you just do it that way and you try it a different way? It's all part of a process. And some kids, they have a hard time with that. They think is it good, or they think it's like 100% or 0%, and I'm like, but it's not always that, guys, and sometimes that's something that can be very helpful for them to learn.
Yeah. I mean, not even just kids. I think a lot of people struggle with perfectionism, and like I always say, like being perfect is an impossible standard. So no wonder why you're in distress. If you're trying to reach perfection, you're trying to reach something that's genuinely impossible, literally impossible. So take that word out of here, out of this room, throw it away, because it's not going to happen. You have to accept that. Excuse me. I feel like also it teaches, like you were saying, it's okay to fail. That it's very like, what I want to say, like boost your self-esteem, obviously.
Yeah.
And there's something else, but it's fine. But also with perfectionism, I know that teachers, educators specifically, are definitely people who struggle with perfectionism and people pleasing and those tendencies, just from working with a lot of it, like having educators as clients. So I'm curious about how you practice self-care, how you unwind after a long day of teaching, and
I mean, I try to do my best to, if I come in and I'm not doing well, what use is that for the kids? But I mean, I try to remind myself of those things a lot too. Try to take things one day at a time, because you can't do it all in one day. I unwind to come home. I do play a game every now and then. I can't, that's therapeutic. That's a way to relax, let everything go. Time with friends, time with loved ones. and and being open and honest with yourself. I'd be open and honest enough that I've gone to therapy now too when I felt like I needed it, and that's and sometimes to a certain extent, like you don't dump specific things on the kids, but at a few times I've absolutely, kids have asked, have you ever gone to therapy? I say, yeah, yes, I have. So why? I said, because I needed it, because I felt like I really needed it at the time. And sometimes that's really important for the younger kids, just hearing the adult, even though I don't feel like one. Hearing the adult say that, I've had a couple of students just tell me, like, to the side, like, hey, thank you for being honest with that.
You're already, like, you're being so brave by saying that too, just as a male.
I did the one student he was a male identifying student. And I think from what I understood, he was specifically like trying to get at that too.
Yeah, to see someone to relate to who maybe has struggled and has seeking therapy, like that's so important. That's so important to someone to relate to who also has and has benefited from it.
Yeah. And because it's tough sometimes. And
is there any specific piece of media that relates to you that you really identify with, or you see yourself in, or anything like that? It could be a piece of music, it could be a movie, a show, a play.
Like as a teacher or as an actor.
An actor. Oh man, that's a good question. A piece of media that like I feel like I really identify with. Right now, because I feel like this is worth noting because I as I mentioned, we've talked about video games a lot, but hello, it's me. I have to. But I'm telling you, as in someone that has played a lot of them, there's one that it's been a couple of years now, and my God, I cannot get it out of my head. Like it keeps coming back, and I think about it almost daily. That to me, I'm like, oh yeah, that's the one. Did I interview? Do you know about Nier?
No.
It's spelled Nier.
Ooh.
I don't even know where to begin with it. It is a series, but it's some of like the weirdest and yet most like thought-provoking things I've ever played as a game. Like that is one where as I keep kicking the Last of Us fans while they're down, but that's one where first off the gameplay is great. The gameplay is sick as hell. Like you're lots of combat combos. It's very in depth. It is very cool. It's visually stunning. But the story is just is crazy. It's not like anything I've ever played before, and so I kind of like don't even know where to start to actually even like talk about it. And I am that person where you could probably fill a whole nother podcast episode about it, but I won't do that to you.
Bonus episode. Just you.
I guess just like the one thing that I'll say about it is the guy who's like the director of these games. They're made in Japan, and the director of this game, his name is Yoko Taro, and he's this very like eccentric man. He like wears a mask out in public, like he seems like a very eccentric man, but my God, I think he's a genius. He like said in an interview one time, which I did watch because I'm that invested in it, that he's talking about that he's like I'm really interested in games that make, for better or worse, make you feel something. And he really has done that on purpose and has done some incredible things. For example, in the game, the whole thing is the game Nier. You're playing to try to simplify it. In the one Nier game, you're playing as they're the main characters. They're like robots, and it's because it's post-apocalyptic, and they're robots, and they're fighting for humanity. They're like, oh, we're robots, but we're fighting against, these forces for the sake of humanity. Spoiler for Nier, it's a lie. Humanity's dead. They died a long time ago, and it doesn't exist. They're just programmed to think that they are, and this like cycle keeps happening where they like keep dying, and then they just re-upload their consciousness like back in another one. And it's like it gets really deep, it gets really deep really fast about like control. Why am I doing this? Does it really matter? And things for that, and you're like, what? And it gets crazy, and there's there's multiple endings to the game, and there's one ending that is to the game is called Ending E to the game, and I know I'm really simplifying things, but essentially the ending of the game boils down to the two characters like dying, and the side characters that were watching them and like telling and like recognizing it like as a piece of media, like almost are like directed to you as like you're playing the game, and you feel for like these characters that like can't break out of the cycle that they find themselves in. So what do? The final boss of the game is you play as this little, like it turns into like an arcade, like a little like spaceship thing, like think Galaga. And what are you fighting? You're fighting the credits. I'm dead serious. The credits come down and they start shooting, like the names of the people that made the game start shooting things at you, and you have to beat the credits. And this beautiful piece of music called, and I know it off the top of the head, it's called Weight of the World plays. And there's a chorus in the background, and it turns out the chorus was taken from the people from the offices that made the game. So like you were actually fighting the people that made the game, and the crazy I hammer it home by it is trippy, but it's like I will never forget this ever because and that's like this guy's idea of like creating these insane experiences.
Yes.
And like it all like culminates to the fact is like, okay, like I'm playing like this now arcade me fighting the end credits of this game. It gets impossible to the point where it's like there's no way you can do this. Like I can't I can't believe that this is happening. There's no way. I keep dying, and I keep trying again, and it reloads, and I keep trying. Eventually like messages start to pop up, and it's like, do you want to keep trying?
Wow.
Don't you have something else to do?
Oh my God.
Why do you? And I'm like, what? And then that happens, and I'm like, no, I'm gonna keep trying. And then eventually, like, you see other phrases, like pop up, like you can do it. It's gonna it's okay. And I'm like, oh, that's really sweet. And then I noticed like some of the things that pop up are like gibberish.
Oh.
And I'm like, or seem like almost like how real people would I'm like, what in the world is going on? Like, what is up with that? And then finally, after so many times, it asks, do you want help? And if you say yes, like 7 other like of these mini spaceships come to you, and you get like super powerful, and there's names on them. And there's names on them, and you do it, and you beat it with like your super powered up ship of all these other spaceships that look like yours. And at the end of it, when you beat the end credits, the game says, do you want to delete your save data? If you delete your save data, you can write a message to everyone else that plays the game.
Whoa.
And you can be one of the people that can help. Like, when you accept help, it's real people that gave up their save data to help you. So I did. I deleted the save data. It's gone, and I'm like, cool.
I'm not surprised.
So and it's
Question yourself.
yeah. And I was like, that is the wildest day I've ever had of my whole life, and I keep thinking about it all the time. And I'm like, wow, that is just the greatest thing ever.
That's awesome.
To me.
Yeah, it's wild. And again, I know I'm like definitely missing details and simplifying it, but no, that's Nier.
No, that's
It's the weirdest and yet best like game I've ever played, and it's cool. It's I love it.
That's pretty awesome. Well, do you have any other besides Near? Do you have any recommendations? Shows?
I mean, yeah. Oh my God.
Podcasts.
This podcast. I'm so happy to be here, and I miss you so much.
I miss you too.
No, play Silent Hill, Bayonetta. Plays maybe read Sam Shepard if you're like 18 years of age or older.
Yes.
Read plays. Is He Dead's a good play?
Yes.
It's because we're doing that. Movies. Oh God. Oh, movies. Nell and I just watched the original Alien. Like it's spooky. It's spooky season.
It's spooky season.
Watch a horror movie. Over the Garden Wall for like a cartoon. It's also really great. Watch it in books. I haven't read a lot of books to be honest, but I read House of Leaves recently, and that was crazy. I don't know. It's but I don't know if I should just look straight down the camera. But what you like.
Yeah.
But please, always be confident in what you like, even if people have opinions.
Yes.
Sorry, Last of Us fans. But no, don't feel bad. No, like it. This is one person's opinion. I'm happy that people like what they like. That's what's important.
Yes, exactly. And be passionate about it like Joey is.
Yes.
Maybe
Everyone should be more like Joey.
Yeah. So lastly, Joey, do you want to plug your socials?
It is. Don't laugh. It is. You can follow me at Instagram at REO Stellwagen.
Yes, it is. Ario Stellwagen.
Yeah. Rio. And yeah.
Amazing. Joey, thank you so much for coming. This was such a good conversation.
Yeah.
Thank you for having me.
And yeah,
As always.
this is that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Welcome to Maggie's Media Munchies, where I give you media to pair with a food, a drink, a puff, something fun and fresh and funky. So I'm so excited about the getting back to Media Munchies. Yeah, I know. They're always so chaotic, but listen, people, they're so good together, and you don't even know.
You just gotta try it out.
You just gotta try it out for yourself. I am pairing a fun new favorite of ours to watch now that you have a new place, which is The Golden Bachelorette, which is so much better than The Golden Bachelor, first of all.
Yes.
I watched The Golden Bachelor and I couldn't get through the first season. It was too emotional, and it is emotional. Don't get me wrong. Golden Bachelorette is very emotional. But I'm sorry, now having emotionally mature men like on a show is just like actually making a complete difference in the show completely. Like actually it's just, I think it should only be The Golden Bachelorette from here on out. They should never do a Bachelor season. They should never do a Bachelorette season. They should never do like it's perfect.
Yeah.
The way it is. So I think you should pair The Golden Bachelorette, Our Lady Joan, Our Lady in Waiting Joan, with any Reese's treat that it fills your desire. I've been trying out a lot of new Reese's treats. I've been trying the Reese's animal crackers that have been really good. I've been trying the Reese's pretzels that have been, I think those are my favorite. And then a favorite of ours is the Reese's Take 5.
Yes.
That is delish.
Fire.
That's fire. Also been loving Reese's Pieces too.
Mm-hmm.
They're really enjoying those as well.
And peanut butter M&Ms, which are
The
real good cousins.
yeah, Reese's Besties. But yeah, that's my first media munchie. My second media munchie is something a little old, something a little fun if you haven't seen. I don't know if anyone has seen the movie Crazy Stupid Love.
Mm-hmm.
So Steve Carell, Emma Stone, Ryan Gosling. It's a fan favorite of mine. It's just like a stacked cast with a good story, an actual good story, an actually good comedy, and actually good romance and chemistry. And I say pair that with a nice decadent chocolate cake. Have a nice German chocolate cake with you while you eat this film. Like, it's indulgent. It's fun. Oh. Eat the film. Eat the film.
Watch it, eat it.
Watch it, eat it. Do whatever pleases you about this film. I think it's good. I think it's yummy to eat. I don't know. Forgive me. Forgive me if I'm wrong. I think it's good to eat. But yeah, definitely do that. Then, yeah, and just watch the film. The way it unfolds, the way that film unfolds is always always a shock factor. I feel like that's what I loved about it was the shock factor. I have not gotten a shock factor from a rom-com in years, and that film will always uphold such a high standard in my eyes to rom-coms, because there's a lot of new rom-coms coming out there right now, and I just haven't been the biggest fan of them recently, unfortunately. So go watch Crazy Stupid Love, an old classic.
Yeah.
And eat some chocolate cake. But yeah, those are my medium munchies.
Love it.
Love it. Yum. Eat up.
Yeah. Just do it. Welcome back to Tyler's Take Care of Yourself tip, where I give you a tip to take care of yourself. So we kind of talked about like the changing of the seasons, like a couple episodes ago, our first episode for season 2. And just like the difficulty of the transformation from summer to fall. So I thought a good take care of yourself tip would be a journal entry, or even just like, better conversations have with a loved one, about just like the reflecting on the change of season, particularly with fall. And just, the idea of letting go is like such a prominent topic when it comes to fall, like the leaves, the trees letting go of the leaves and all of that, and just like grounding yourself and reflecting. So I think a journal prompt to do is reflecting on balance and letting go, just like, it sounds great, but just like how the trees let go of the leaves, and writing about that, reflecting on that, and how that relates to your personal life. And yeah, I think this is a good thing to do, just reflecting on your summer and being open to the new season of the fall. So try it out. And yeah, as always, take care of yourself.
Welcome to Women Crush Wednesday, where we tell you about a woman we are crushing on. Yes. Tyler, who are you crushing on?
I'm crushing on the golden girl, Missy McIntosh.
Yes.
And if you don't know her, you will now, because TikTok will hear this and show her on your page. But it's this girl.
Wow. I cannot believe this piece of glass is showing exactly what I knew in my heart, body, mind. That I am completely amazing, older, a stroker, and I never thought I could be.
Yes.
That's her. And I'm obsessed with her and her friends. And she's my woman crush.
And she's empowering. She is. She's empowering. She can sing too. She can sing. I've watched so many videos of her singing, and she is an incredible singer. Like, she's just you know what I love about her is she puts stuff out there that doesn't feel curated, but it is. Mm-hmm. And she's been grinding at this for a while. Like, but you also don't know that about her by like the first glance until you look at her page. You're like, no, girlie's been about this. Mm-hmm. Like, she's incredible. I love her. That's such a good woman crush.
My golden girl.
My Woman Crush Wednesday is Muden, the little cute hippo from Thailand. And she's so perfect and cute and such a little icon. She flops around and like just is being a slay. Like, why can't people be more like animals? Every time I see her, I'm like, oh my gosh, like, why can't like people be more like you little cute hippo? Like, I love you. But yeah, anyway, that's my woman crush of the week. She's a cutie. She's slay. She runs around. She plays. Like, or why can't we be more like animals, where we just like kind of do feel like I am like her though? Yeah, I play around. I flop around. I get Nick steak representation. I like it. I love her. So that's my woman crush of the week. That's our woman crush of the week. Yeah. This was a fabulous episode. Great start.
Joey.
Yeah. Joey's the best. Literally, he is just a beautiful presence to be around. And I'm just so glad he was our first guest of season 2.
Yeah, sweet too.
So I'm excited to see where this season goes. And we have plenty more guests planned for us.
Yep.
So we will see you guys next week.
Yeah. Follow us on Instagram and TikTok at Act and Analyze Podcast. Subscribe to us on YouTube. Rate us 5 stars on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, and share with anyone you love. And we love you.
We love you.
Bye.
Bye.